What are the three key market trends impacting on your role at the moment?
I think if you look at mobility, a lot has changed in the last 1.5 years. What we're seeing is a big trend and push in consumerization, which impacts us in two ways. One, consumers want mobile applications, and also people are going to bring their own devices into the enterprise. We need to start working with those. The other two areas we are looking at is how do we get mobile into the business strategy itself. Mobile is a very powerful force, being a very personal device, and brings a lot of business opportunities. But to get a consistent business strategy and how we use mobile is going to be a key challenge that we face going forward.
What are the top three challenges you're facing in implementing mobility solutions?
A lot of people, if they don't understand what does mobile bring, which is new and different, like we'll try and use mobile as you use a hammer instead of using a screwdriver. The wrong tool for the wrong choice. So that's going to be the first challenge, getting it relevant and in the business strategy itself. The other two challenges we're facing is the new mobile has a totally different look and feel. It's about visual interaction, about user interaction, how does it look and feel. I mean, if you compare the Windows CE devices with an iPhone, the user experience is dramatically different. But what it means is that the people we need to design these applications is very different too. Getting those skill sets is very scarce and difficult in the market right now. So that's going to be a key challenge we find. The last challenge we find is how do you do all of this in a framework which doesn't have too many vendors and too high total cost of ownership. I mean, you need some kind of an architecture and some investments now to get it right, at least for something which is going to work for 2 or 3 years. Mobile is moving very rapidly, but if you look at the key vendors and the platforms that you need to underpin this, that shouldn't change that often. How do you balance the need to move and be agile with the need to be stable and have a lower TCO? That's going to be a challenge for us.
What are you doing to overcome these challenges?
We started with looking at an architecture and mobile trends for first, but let's step back and look at the business strategy first. Okay, so we went to our board of management and said, look, mobile is different, and we try to educate our stakeholders and our business board of management to try and make them understand that this is a different thing. You need to start looking in a different way. And we have an innovation fund in Philips, which the board of management has approved to look at how mobile can be used as a leapfrog to push Philips into the next generation for mobile. That means how do we use mobile effectively on the web as apps, as extension of our products, or as new services we want to put up in products. So it's getting that on the agenda of business strategy. That's been a first thing. The second challenge we faced was on the lower TCO, where we've taken an integrated approach. We've tried to define an architecture which gives us more from our perspective, Philips' perspective. What do we expect in the next 1.5 years as application needs, and how will we actually deliver them? This gives us a neutral architecture that we can use to map all these various vendors and then see what the gaps are. And there are gaps right now. Yeah.
Device selection has come up as a key area of discussion at this year's exchange, looking at the developments in smartphone technology versus the more ruggedized devices. What are your thoughts on this?
We split the applications that we see within the Philips into two kind of categories, instant value and mission critical. Mission critical are those applications which have specialized requirements. As soon as you have something which must last and can be in, let's say, critical situations where you don't want to break it or you don't want to drop it, well, that's quite a no-brainer of having ruggedized devices. I think the gray area is really those instant value apps. I mean, should you put it on the ruggedized device or should you just put it on the person's smartphone? We've found that we're taking an approach which is consumers driving the adoption of smartphones and different kind of devices. And often you find the engineer who's taking his ruggedized device also has in his pocket his own mobile phone, which he uses all of the time. So you want to be smart about it, let people bring their own devices and see what applications which are not mission critical, how can they use the smartphone technology.
What would you say is your main takeaway from the exchange? What have you learnt so far?
I think the exchange is a very good platform on which you can learn about what's going on in the industry. I mean, every year brings something new, and mobile moving so rapidly. I saw quite a few new set of vendors are offering technologies that we weren't familiar with in the past, and that gives us new opportunities up there. The other two areas which really impressed me, or I had a lot of fun, was to interact with the other people. What kind of solutions are they using? Okay, what are the other thoughts? If we have people from two different gas companies who are actually competitors and seeing how they're addressing field service and asset management, when you peel away the onion, a lot of these use cases are some things that Philips can also use and learn from. And I think that's been the most inspiring part of taking things away from this conference. The last part is also looking at innovation with this context. The keynote from British Airways and from Sainsbury gave us different ways at looking at, that rings a bell, that would be interesting to do, let's try it out. So it's inspiring too.